Hey guys, it's Drake here. This can be kind of weird for me just because I never really talk about personal stuff on this channel, but some things have come up and I figure I might as well just fill you in on what's going on. So I've been making YouTube videos for nearly 18 years now. I started my channel in 2006, and during that time, there's been periods of my life where things would come up and I couldn't make videos, and what I do is I just wouldn't post anything, sometimes for up to a whole year, and then my fans would be all questioning, thinking I'm like dead or something, and which I guess, considering my content, I guess that could be a reasonable explanation. But no, I don't want to do that to you guys this time. And the funny part is I actually have the next project finished, but I don't have it in me to get in front of the camera and do the normal thing. Like that part of me is missing right now. So I recently found out that I'm sick, and I'm sick in this just crazy and bizarre way. And I've been through a lot recently. It's been quite a saga. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what's going on, and then also what the future holds. I will say that how I found out that I'm sick is actually pretty hilarious. I mean, there's actually a lot of funny parts to this story considering its gravity. But anyway, back in January, I had my testosterone levels measured. Now, I did this because I'm 31 years old and I can't grow a beard. And I mean, I can grow some mustache hair and chin hair, but like the sides of my face, there's not much there. And I'm Arabic, so I figured like I should be a furball by now, right? I guess my fear was that maybe I had low T levels. Well, you can imagine my surprise when my testosterone levels came in completely off the charts. And this isn't even an exaggeration. No, like I hit the instrument limit. So I don't even know how high my levels really are. Now this isn't as good as it sounds. It actually means something's very wrong. But of course, I still brag to my friends about this result, but no, it implies a medical issue. And now the funny part is if you're a guy that goes into the clinic with just nuclear testosterone levels and you're not juicing, do you know what the first test they give you is? It's a pregnancy test. It's so absurd. So the reasoning for that is they gave me a test looking for the hormone HCG, which is exactly what pregnancy tests, what they do. Now, if you're a guy with that hormone present, it probably means that you have a tumor. And just because there's some weird endocrine tumors that can secrete this hormone and also make just ridiculous amounts of testosterone. Well, I tested negative for that hormone, but even so, this is when the hunt for cancer began. And this is when I started getting pretty uneasy about this. So yeah, at this point is when all the testing begins. And so they first start off with a bunch of blood tests, and some things, some non-specific things get flagged, but nothing that diagnoses a certain kind of cancer. So that's when they wanted to do some imaging. So they order a renal and abdominal ultrasound. And at this point, I'm thinking, you know what? I did it. Like I've played with one too many chemicals, and I went out and caught cancer. And knowing my luck, it's going to be some stupid rare one that you can't fix. But they got me in pretty fast though, just because they considered my case urgent. And so I go and get the ultrasound, and then as I'm driving home, I got a notification that the results were in. So of course I hurry home, get in, and read them, and it says they didn't find anything. So I'm like, oh, maybe I'm okay then. Maybe I'm just like super manly, even though I can't grow a beard. But apparently not, because then they ordered a brain CAT scan and an abdominal CAT scan. And so then, of course, back to being nervous. Gosh, such a roller coaster of emotions. But then the day of the CAT scan comes, and then I get a call from the clinic saying, hey, we haven't heard from your insurance. They may not be willing to pay for this. So then I call them, and they're like, no, we're not covering the scan. So I'm like, like, are you serious? Like, I pay nearly $10,000 a year for this health insurance, and like, you'd think the least they could do is like cover their part of a CAT scan, but apparently not. So then, like, of course, I have to fight these guys. But in the meantime, I asked my nurse, I'm like, okay, like, can I just see an endocrinologist? Maybe they'll have some input for me. And then again, I get a notification on my phone that I have an after visit summary. And I'm like, I didn't see a doctor. Like, I haven't seen a doctor during any part of this. So then I log in, and turns out an endocrinologist looked at my chart and wrote a few notes on it. And he's like, yeah, this guy has high testosterone, but it's actually a secondary problem to having high levels of this protein called SHBG. And it's probably due to liver disease, but cancer is also possible, so I should still get that CAT scan. So I'm just like, oh, like I do not like where this is going. This is bad. So my insurance denies the CAT scan, right? I mean, that's a really, really common move for health insurance. They just like to blanket deny procedures because they'll scare some of the patients off that don't want to go through the whole process of fighting them, and it saves them money, of course. But so my nurses and docs, they fight for me and get insurance to pay their part. And after 6 weeks, then I can get that CAT scan, and it doesn't find anything abnormal, which it doesn't say much about my liver, unfortunately, but it didn't find any tumors, so that's good. But the stupid part is then I got billed $3,300 for that scan with insurance. And the even dumber part is that I got a quote from my clinic on what it would cost me without insurance, and it was only $1,400. So because I have this insurance, it actually cost me more money to get this scan. Like, how is that even possible? That is the stupidest thing in the world. Like, how is that legal? But I mean, that's classic American healthcare for you. And I guess the one good thing is that because I've had so many scans and I've already paid thousands even before this for all this medical stuff, is I am going to hit my like out-of-pocket max for the year. But like, geez, like that is stupid. And like even beyond the financial aspect, I shouldn't have to fight just to get any procedure done. That is the stupidest thing in the world. Now what sucks is that I've actually had some blood markers of liver disease for more than a decade. But I tested negative for all the common liver diseases and many of the rare ones too. And so since then I've just figured that, maybe it's just an anomaly in the blood result, but I'm healthy, which is a thing that happens. But according to this other results, no, I've had something cook in my liver for more than 10 years, which is horrifying. And what double sucks is that my high levels of testosterone and SHBG, that's something you can see with cirrhosis. And for the record, there's a lot of things that can cause cirrhosis. Like, it's not just alcohol. And it can also, because liver disease is very sneaky sometimes, actually quite frequently, it can also show up without really causing many symptoms. So, that's horrifying. So then, of course I want to see a liver doctor, but the earliest they can schedule me to see one is 3.5 months out. So I'm just like, oh man, this is going to be the wait of a lifetime, isn't it? 3 months is a long time to wait for simply the beginning of the next round of tests. Now at first, I tried distracting myself by building the next project. But then when it came time to actually filming with it, I struggled to get anything done. And then one day it hit me. I'm like, you know what? I just don't want to do this right now. You know what I'd rather be doing? I'd rather be hunting tornadoes. Storm chasing is not a new hobby for me, but something I had never done and always wanted to do was to drive out to the plains and experience a big tornado outbreak. And you know what? That's exactly what I did. I drove out to the plains and chased the biggest tornadoes I've ever seen in my life. I made a video about that trip, and I consider it to be one of my best videos. It's on my storm chasing channel, and I highly recommend you watch it. I've been enjoying more to nature than just tornadoes though. On April 8th I got to see the solar eclipse with friends I hadn't seen in a long time, and we got to watch it from deep in a wilderness area. And then a month later, a geomagnetic storm brought the Aurora Borealis directly above my house in Illinois. I never thought I'd see the day where that would happen. It's been a good spring for critters too. Ophelia is as healthy as ever, and the moths have been very abundant. Plus, the 17-year cicadas have arrived. These guys are the mathematicians of the insect world. They spend 17 years underground and then emerge all at once for their final weeks of life. This incredibly long development period is probably an adaptation from time when food was scarce, and the bizarre prime number life cycle prevents insectivores from adapting to them. They also hatch in such enormous numbers that animals can't possibly devour them all. There are literally millions of these guys singing in the trees around my house, and it's so loud outside that I can barely hear myself think out there. I absolutely love it. So if you can't tell by now, I actually consider things in my life to be pretty good. I mean, I live in the middle of this lush forest that's filled with all these really cool plants and critters. And of course, Ophelia here, she's the real highlight. Gosh, she's stuck around for more than 2 years now. That's so cool. I really couldn't ask for much better than this, honestly. And yeah, there's gonna be a temporary break in me making videos, but it's not because I'm sad. It's just like a temporary change in priorities. So for my fans, you're gonna have to settle for some tornado content on my side channel in the meantime. But yeah, a few months from now, I'll get back to the usual stuff. And of course, I got a lot of fun medical testing coming up in my near future. But yeah, there'll be more of my regular content. One quick thing that I'd like to add is that I'm still going to Open Sauce this year. I'm speaking on a few panels, as well as going around meeting fans. Check it out if you can. But yeah, I'll be back, and things will be alright. But yeah, until the next time, stay safe and happy lazing.